Okay, you're on, babe.
Hi, all. So I'm going to speak first because I may never get the stage again. So those of you who know me know I don't want that anyway, and you know Jeff loves it. So I'm going first. He's already laughing. Okay, so 10 years ago in Cambodia, after spending the day wandering through cobra and mine-infested fields led by giant rats, Thane and Jeff and I, we sat by the pool discussing the exhausting job of finding funding for the center in which to run all these amazing programs. So during that discussion, Jeff and I decided that if we were going to help relieve Thane's valuable time and his focus from fundraising towards programmatic issues, then we wanted a firm commitment from Thane. So we wanted 5 years of his life, and 5 years of his passion signed in blood. Right, Thane? So he made that promise, and then, per usual, he overachieved. He dedicated an amazing 10 years of his life to the center. He grew it into something that Jeff and I are intensely proud to be associated with, and beyond anything we could have ever hoped for. So thank you, Thane, from the bottom of our heart. However, there's one more super important thing that I want to express to Stephen. Stephen, for those of you who don't know, Stephen is Thane's husband. I don't know, I think 20, 25 years, something like that, almost as long as Jeff and I. Anyway, Stephen has been the silent hero, as the spouse always is. I doubt that we would be where we are today had Stephen not provided the emotional support to ground and inspire and keep our bunny energized, our bunny being Thane. So I personally know that sacrifice, Stephen, and I want to thank you for sharing Thane, for sharing your husband, and 10 years of your life with us as well. So thank you to both you guys, Thane and Stephen. We love you both, and we look forward to sharing in your new chapter. And here is my husband. Now he gets the stage.
Thank you, babe. So 10 years ago, while we were looking for a new executive director for what was then known as the Center for Science, Technology, and Society, a wonderful name that only an academic could love, we met Thane, who during his interviewing process unveiled his big, hairy, audacious goal for the center of impacting 1 billion of the poorest people in the world. And we all thought it was a crazy idea, but it was certainly directionally correct. 10 years later, through the creativity, drive, and leadership of Thane and the whole now Miller Center team, we're well on our way to achieving Thane's audacious goal, having improved, transformed, or saved the lives of more than 400 million people. When Thane assumed leadership of Miller Center, we had one GSBI program, one product offering that allowed us to accompany 15 to 20 social entrepreneurs a year. Miller Center now has a myriad of different programs aimed at social enterprises at different levels of scale, including ones that help our most successful alumni scale even further. And we now accompany more than 250 social enterprises annually. Thane also introduced an offering that brought reality to our heretofore theoretical work, the Immersion Trip. During Thane's tenure, Miller Center has conducted trips for interested parties to visit our social entrepreneurs on the ground in their locales in East Africa, India, and as Karen mentioned with our trip to Cambodia, Southeast Asia. And to really gain an understanding of how the social entrepreneurs work, the challenges they overcome, and the dramatic impact they bestow on their beneficiaries. These trips have made a lasting impact on all who have taken them and have directly led to better programming, and additional fundraising. In addition, Thane and the team created the GSB Fellowship, our action research initiative that transforms the lives of 20 of Santa Clara University's top students every year. The highlight for all of us on the advisory board is the fall meeting, when we get to listen to 3 or 4 of our newest fellows describe their summer overseas working with and providing value to one of our social entrepreneurs. I have to tell you, we're all in tears, literally, every time we listen to these kids, who are no longer kids, by the way, when they come back. Because these unbelievable students return as changed young adults, ready to make their mark on the world, and we are assured that the world will be a better place because of them. Thane, I can't express my gratitude and thanks for all that you've done any better than Karen did. I will add, however, that our satisfaction with the results of our gift grows with each passing year. So whatever the inverse of buyer's remorse is, that's what we have. And we have you and the team to thank for that. We'll miss you, pal, only in that position, not in the rest of our lives. But nothing lasts forever. And it's now time for all of us at Miller Center to welcome our new executive director, Bridget Helms. Bridget brings a wealth of experience to us, having spent a couple of decades developing and delivering innovative solutions to social and environmental problems in a vast number of developing countries around the world, including a number where she's lived. She also brings an insider's understanding of how US and global development programs are funded and run, which is something we have never had that insight into. And so that should help provide more opportunities for Miller Center to grow. On a more personal note, I can tell you from the many reference checks that I did as part of the recruiting process, that Bridget's peers consider her to be a master strategist, an amazing facilitator, and a lot of fun to work with. Bridget, we appreciate the way you have jumped right into your new role, the difficulties of COVID, and of moving your family from DC to Santa Clara notwithstanding. And we look forward to providing whatever support you need to drive Miller Center's impact even further. Thank you both for what you have done and what you will do to help Miller Center positively impact the world. Thanks.
This party is celebrating the decision of Santa Clara to invite Thane Greiner here, and the decision of Thane to say yes to being here. We have a few minutes. I want to talk about what it means to Thane to use the word here. It's the teaching of St. Ignatius that goes back 500 years, that the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius, says, you should always ask yourself, why am I where I am? Why am I here? And how did I get here? What decisions did I make that got me here? And how long have I stayed here? And what has here come to mean to me? What has the place where I am come to mean to me? Ignatius teaches, whenever you are alert, you start with place. And you might say, let your senses introduce you to where you are. So where doesn't just mean a map it doesn't just mean an institutional relationship. It also means physical presence. And so Ignatius says, if you pay attention to your physical presence, where it is, then it will teach you why you got there. It will teach you what matters to you about being where you are. It'll teach you what perspectives you are gaining because of where you are. And it will teach you when you feel drawn to move, to go to another place. Pay attention to your feelings and let them teach you where you are, and let them teach you how where you are matters to you. It is your senses that helps you to be surprisable and makes you sad when you are sad and joyful when you are joyful. So we are saying a goodbye to you, Thane, and I, for one, am sad, but I'm not sad as in we made a mistake. I'm just sad because I will miss your presence in this particular way. I suspect there are plenty of other people who share that sadness in this space. So blessings as you go. And I wish you many good sadnesses.
Thane, creator of essential and elegant systems. From your work on biological systems, you came here to lead the development of a value creation system so inspiring that it led 250 plus of us know-it-all executives to want to be a part of it. Confession, you know how you always said that we were the secret sauce? Well, we loved hearing it every time. So we mentors send you our love. You won't be here, but we'll always be connected. It's the beauty of systems.
Thank you, Thane, for inspiring us with your
vision,
ambition,
BHAGs,
insight,
compassion,
mentorship, commitment,
passion,
compassion,
passion,
enthusiasm,
passion,
candor,
Pride,
approachability,
authenticity,
art,
passion,
passion to serve others,
hope.
Hello, I'm delighted to gather together to celebrate the remarkable impact of Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship. Thanks to the vision of Jeff and Karen Miller, their generosity, and the support of so many others, the center has become a shining star and a global ambassador for Santa Clara University and our Jesuit mission. I will highlight today some of the center's work and draw attention to a few accomplishments that speak to the center's impact under Thane's excellent and always exuberant leadership. Miller Center is one of Santa Clara's 3 centers of distinction that draw on our core Jesuit mission of engaging communities locally and globally in the pursuit of knowledge in service of humanity. More than half of the world's people live in poverty. Through social entrepreneurship, Miller Center addresses the root problems of poverty and provides sustainable economic and social impact. We've been especially fortunate to leverage the entrepreneurial spirit of Silicon Valley combined with our Jesuit practices of reflection, accompanying the poor, and protecting the planet. Miller Center spans complex, systemic issues, including economic empowerment, clean drinking water, sustainable farming, infant mortality, reproductive health, and improved education. I especially appreciate that Miller Center is at the forefront of accelerating entrepreneurship in 3 vital areas: supporting women's economic growth, ensuring access to affordable, reliable, and clean energy, and restoring dignity to marginalized communities, refugees, migrants, and human trafficking survivors. Through all these efforts, since 2003, Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship has accelerated more than 1,000 social enterprises, which collectively have improved, transformed, or saved the lives of over 400 million people in 100 countries. Moreover, the center provides Santa Clara University students with opportunities to learn and work with social entrepreneurs on the front lines of poverty eradication and sustainable development in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and elsewhere. The program has graduated 144 fellowship alumni who have participated in 64 fully funded action research projects. Of these alumni, 3 were valedictorians at Santa Clara and 12 were Fulbright scholars. This is at the heart of our mission, to simultaneously serve our students with a rigorous and transformative Jesuit education while also serving the global good. We are so grateful for the center and all of you who have supported it. Thane has been a marvelous ambassador for the center, leading it through some amazing progress. We will miss him dearly, but we know that he and Stephen will remain committed to Miller Center. We have a small gift for him, something to keep him close to us in heart and mind as he continues his pilgrimage. Thane, you have truly embraced Ignatian spirituality, so we hope that you'll appreciate this signed copy of Father O'Brien's book, The Ignatian Adventure. Finally, we're delighted today to welcome Bridget, one of our most accomplished alumni, back to Santa Clara University as she continues to build on the excellent foundation of Miller Center and Thane's tremendous legacy. Thane and Bridget, we're filled with gratitude for both of you and excitement about our future. Thank you. God bless.
Hey, it's great to join with others in thanking Thane Kreiner for his inspired leadership of Miller Center. When I reflect on all that you've accomplished, Thane, I'm reminded of the center's humble beginnings in 1997 in the basement of Walsh Hall. I recall sitting at a small discarded conference table in that basement in animated conversations with Silicon Valley luminaries like Doug Engelbart about how we might be able to identify promising technology solutions to the world's most urgent problems and then accelerate their diffusion to some of the poorest places on Earth. At this same discarded table, I was blessed with great mentors in Paul Locatelli and Regis McKenna. Together, we envisioned the center as a network and partnerships blossomed with organizations like Applied Materials, the Tech Museum, the World Bank, and Skoll Foundation. So much of what has happened since those early days has been inspired by Thane Kreiner's leadership and his respect for the personal agency of bottom-up social entrepreneurs. Over time, I believe that the curriculum Miller Center has developed for social entrepreneurs at the base of the pyramid has become the best in the world. The networks you fostered, Thane, to strengthen their work and to engage Santa Clara students have made Miller Center an internationally recognized center of distinction and a beacon of hope in our world. My toast to you, my thanks, and my very best wishes.
Thanks for your leadership, Thane.
We'll miss you.
All the best in your next adventure.
I'm Sister Enelis Timbali from Malawi. I've been working with the Association of Consecrated Women in Eastern and Central Africa, ACWECA, for the past 6 years. In this ministry, I've moved a lot and I've learned a lot of things. And one of the things that I've appreciated so much is the meeting of Miller Center interperson of Thane at the third Impact Investment Conference in Rome that was organized by Catholic Relief Services. When Thane was sharing with us what Miller Center do, especially when they're working with their social enterprises in Africa, I felt to say this can be the organization that we can work with. And I shared with him how he can work with the sisters. And he was like, for sure, we can. And I shared with him what the sisters do and what the sisters want and what kind of knowledge and resources the sisters have. Then accepted it, and that was the birth of the Sisters Branded Value Project. In this project, the sisters have been introduced and worked with different social enterprises that are working with Miller Center who are in Africa. Just name a few: Eggpreneur, New Cafe, Teach a Man to Fish, and many more that the sisters have been introduced to. With this, I want to thank Thane for the encouragement, most especially when he came to Africa in March in 2019, when he shared with us the general concept of Miller Center, how they work, how do they develop from wherever a social enterprise is to where it can be in the near future. And the sisters were like, I think we can. Based on that, sisters have done a lot of things, and they are ready to move and to continue doing the activity that they are doing, knowing Miller Center is behind them, and they'll continue working with them, and also they continue providing the accompaniment that the sisters have been looking for many years. And now Thane is leaving Miller Center. I want to thank you, Thane, for the door that you opened for the sisters to enter into the corridors of Miller Center. We have learned so many things, and we want to assure you to say we're going to continue working with Miller Center, with everyone who will be coming or anybody who will be coming to take your position. And we appreciate also all the staff at Miller Center for the support that they have given us. And also, as you go wherever you are going, just know that we, the sisters, we're going to pray for you and also to support you. If you have a window where you're going, where the sisters can participate in your new ministry, just know we'll be ready to work with you and to learn whatever you want to learn. It's our wish and dream to change the face of Africa. Thank you.
Hey, Thane. Jay here from Baltimore, one of your favorite places. First, I want to thank you so much for your partnership with Innovation Works over the years. It has been truly a great journey with you and your team. 3 words that you use so eloquently: leading with love. Those 3 words have stuck with me quite a bit. I use them all the time. because it so much encapsulates the work that we do and our collective hope for humanity, especially in these days. Those words actually sustain me. Thank you for your service to Miller Center, and I hope that we continue to find ways to work with each other. I wish you many blessings. Cheers.
Thank you all for joining us in celebration. To the program team at Miller Center, what you have created is beautiful and it warms my heart. You've already brought me to tears several times. Lisa, thank you for your kind and generous words about my work leading Miller Center and the great impact Miller Center has already had on the world, with much more to come, I'm quite sure. Karen and Jeff, there are no words that can express the depth of my appreciation for your friendship and love for Miller Center, for our social entrepreneurs, our students, our mentors, and most of all, for me and my husband, Steve. I am so honored to count you among our forever friends. What attracted me to Miller Center, what's now Miller Center in 2010, to Santa Clara University was the idea that Silicon Valley entrepreneurial principles could help enterprises serving the poor and protecting the planet scale their impact. And that's certainly true. You heard the metrics from Lisa. This journey over the last decade, though, has revealed how much the poor and planet can teach Silicon Valley, how much we still have to learn. I've had the opportunity to meet literally hundreds of social entrepreneurs. Their passions derive from a devotion to social justice rather than to wealth creation. They imagine impact potential more than intellectual property. And they know in their hearts that we humans must learn to live in harmony with our natural ecosystems. I am grateful to all the social entrepreneurs for teaching me the meaning of authentic impact, for welcoming me into an amazing global community of change leaders. On many visits to social entrepreneurs in Africa, Asia, and the Americas, and you saw some of those pictures, thank you again, program team, I had the opportunity to witness firsthand the challenges these entrepreneurs and the communities that they serve face. And those experiences formed both Miller Center and me. A decade into this journey, we find ourselves in the midst of a global pandemic and a social justice movement that recognizes, finally, how our systems and structures have excluded our sisters and brothers, have perpetuated injustices, and have ignored the consequences of economic development on our environment. Amid all of this, Miller Center stands as a beacon of hope, an icon of social value creation that rests on the notion of women and men for others, of servant leadership. Our more than 250 executive mentors that you heard Taiya talk about exemplify this notion of women and men for others. They are trusted advisors to our social entrepreneurs, and they have been faithful companions to me on this journey, offering time, talent, and wisdom. And many of them have become apostles for the Santa Clara University brand of entrepreneurship in service to humanity. Without a doubt, the greatest joy on this journey has been the opportunity to accompany more than 150 of Santa Clara University's finest students through our transformative social justice program, the Global Social Benefit Fellowship, and through my honors course, Entrepreneurship for Social Justice. I am proud of and inspired by the change that these young leaders are already creating in the world. To all my kids, as I call you with affection and love, I am forever grateful and humbled by the lessons that you have taught me. Thank you. This journey would not have been possible without the generosity and friendship of so many donors, foremost among them, Jeff and Karen. They understood how we could leverage philanthropy to create even greater impact. And I trust that you will continue to support Miller Center's heroic ambitions on the journey forward and ask that Ignatian question, what more can we do for the greater good? To the team at Miller Center, thank you for believing in my vision, for helping shape my crazy ideas into programs and ultimately into impact. Our replication initiative to enable massively parallel scaling of successful social enterprise business models, the social entrepreneurship at the margins program you heard Lisa talk about for enterprises serving or led by refugees, migrants, and human trafficking survivors, the 20 million plus modern day slaves. Our work you heard Sister Annalise talk about, the Sisters Blended Value Project, helping sisters use entrepreneurial principles in sub-Saharan Africa to advance the charism of their congregations. Our partnership with Innovation Works to develop sustainable local economies in Baltimore and other blighted urban areas of the United States. Our Mining Alternatives Project to help create dignified livelihoods in the Democratic Republic of the Congo so that children don't die mining cobalt for our smartphones, our tablets, and our computers and our cars. These and many other ingenious and innovative programs characterize the beauty of the team at Miller Center. All of these programs, this impact, the amazing networks we've been able to develop, the people have far transcended my wildest imagination for impact in so many dimensions during my time at Santa Clara University. And one of the greatest gifts is that some of my companions and colleagues on this journey have become lifelong, even eternal friends. Y'all know who you are. Thank you for all the love. Thank you. That I, trained as a scientist, can speak of an eternity filled with love testifies to the power of this community. As I wrote in the February announcement of my decision to step down, Santa Clara University, Miller Center, and Ignatian spirituality have become part of my DNA, of the 3 billion base pairs that comprise my genome. Little did we know then that our world would be riven by a pandemic, that our lives would be torn apart and we would be physically distanced by a virus only 30,000 base pairs in length. Nor could we have imagined that our collective commitment to social justice, to overcoming systemic racism, would bring us together again, would unify us towards social justice. Despite all that has changed since my discernment, the time is right for a new executive director for Miller Center for many reasons, foremost among them, our people and planet need entrepreneurship for social justice now more than ever. Bringing 30 years experience, creating innovative solutions to challenging global problems, and with on-the-ground experience in Africa, Latin America, and Asia, our new executive director, Bridget Helms, is spectacularly equipped to lead Miller Center and Santa Clara University to even greater good. Let us proceed with greater love than fear. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this marvelous event. And I want to take my hat off to the organizers. As you get to know me a little bit better, you'll know that I absolutely love quotes. And I'd like to start my comments with one of my favorites by Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And Thane, I can tell by all the energy in this room that you have made people feel absolutely great. My hat's off to you. I'd like to build on that idea by using the first letters of the name Miller to talk about my excitement and motivation for joining Miller Center. And I might just slip in a few more quotes, my favorite quotes along the way. So, M is for mother. My mom is my personal hero. An immigrant to the US from Mexico as a teenager, she has persevered through thick and thin, pivoted several times in her career, has boundless energy, and maintains a positive attitude no matter what life throws at her. A favorite quote from my mom that I heard my entire life through is, "This life is not a dress rehearsal. In fact, it is the performance and you're living it right now. So get on it." I is for innovation. I've spent my entire adult life dreaming about what's next and finding opportunities that enable me to spur innovation in my teens to jump as quickly as possible to that next thing. Remember what William Gibson said, "The future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed." At Miller Center, thanks to all the great work of Thane and the team and the vision of Jeff and Karen and the support of the university, we have the luxury of discovering and redistributing that future via our social entrepreneurs, mentors, and students. L is for love. Just as Thane said, and what we've heard before, I've always and will continue to lead with my heart. Probably the most valued compliment I've ever received in my career was from colleagues in the Philippines who dubbed me peopleistic. "Bridget, you're a peopleistic." And one of my personal mottos is, smart is not enough. In my experience, no matter how brilliant, how smart you are, and your strategies and ideas, it actually doesn't matter unless you can activate the hearts, especially the hearts, but also the minds of the human beings who need to do something different and be part of the change that you seek to see. The second L is for learning. I've always felt that the day I stop learning something new is the day I might as well expire. Miller Center offers this amazing opportunity for me to stretch my existing skills and experiences into the university space and into the Silicon Valley ingenuity. And the fact that we support social enterprises, students, and other partners to continuously learn and improve is like a dream come true for me. And I especially love the idea of giving back to students at Santa Clara the sense of purpose that I gained there so many years ago. E is for excellence. I was sort of debating about excellence, efficiency, effectiveness, a lot of good E words, actually. But at the end of the day, maximizing the impact of the work that I do and those around me has always been a huge passion for me. And I love the idea of disproportionate impact relative to size. The proverbial tail kind of wagging the dog. And Thane and the team have really proven that they can achieve this, and that I believe Miller Center can even be more effective in leveraging our relatively, modest resources to achieve outsized impact, primarily through three main levers: technology, strategic alliances with impact investors of all flavors, and partnerships, both global and local. And then R is for resilience. The fact that I'm talking to you from remote right now reminds us of the terrible triple pandemics that we're all living through and that Thane talked about: the COVID, racial injustice, and environmental degradation. I firmly believe that social entrepreneurs hold an important key to the solution to this horrible triumvirate and the implications that they bring. But to make a serious dent in these problems, it just can't be business as usual for any of us, really, including Miller Center. As we search for inventive ways to scale our impact, we need to probably take some more risks and push ourselves out of our comfort zones, even if that means we won't always, hit it out of the park. We need to be resilient. To quote one of my other personal hero, after my mom, Nelson Mandela, do not judge me by my successes, but judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Resilience. And I'm going to end this chat just with yet one more quote. I know I'm just going to inundate you with them, but from my favorite president, Barack Obama. To me, it's like a call of action for all of us. He said, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Thank you very much.
The Miller Center provided much needed support when I started my business. I don't think I could have been able to communicate our vision or next steps as confidently as we did when we just started. So it really laid a foundation for my business to grow. It's amazing how many times I refer to the framework set by Steve White and the rest of the Miller Center team. I also believe that my mentors from 3 years ago have become lifelong supporters of my business. They have literally bridged the gap, either financially or talent-wise, so much in the past 3 years. I don't think I could have had a better place to get this sort of strong foundation and solid framework, which served as a springboard for us to build upon. I'd also like to thank Thane, who's leaving, for being a quiet champion for social entrepreneurs across the globe, especially women of color. Thank you so much for your leadership.
to be with everyone today. I'm delighted to join this company of friends of the university and faculty and staff, and hear our student voices whom we miss so much. My words will seem redundant, so I should probably be brief, because part of the Jesuit tradition is we try to be reflective enough so that we have the experience and never miss the meaning of it. And so there's a lot of good words and thoughts and images to take in with gratitude. So Thane, in the Catholic moral tradition, there are some fundamental principles that I think serve me well when I think about how to say goodbye to you. One is that good people do good things. It's how it works. If you're a good person, you will do good things. And you are a good man, Thane, and your goodness is so evident in the testimonies that have been shared, but also in most probably importantly in the lives you have touched. So the other principle is goodness multiplies. It's just by its nature, goodness is infectious. It multiplies, and I hope that when you, in your time away, in our various forms of isolation or removal, that you have the time up there in that beautiful part of Sonoma to reflect on these 10 years. It's a long time, in a spirit of grateful remembering, just to thank God, thank other people for what has been accomplished here, but also to recognize your own goodness and how the good has multiplied through you to have an impact on lives that are countless. And in the end, we probably in our lifetimes don't appreciate how we have made lives better. We've got a taste of it today in a really extraordinary way, Thane. But I hope that God gives you a glimpse of all the good that you have done. And I suspect that goodness will be revealed in the years ahead as you reflect with more distance from your time in Santa Clara. So thank you, Thane. You're a good man. You've done good things, and the goodness has multiplied. To Bridget, we are so excited to have you here. It's great to have an alumna of Santa Clara in leading in this way. It's sort of in your DNA to be here. The mission is just a part of who you are, Bridget, and that passion and enthusiasm will be also infectious in a good way for the folks here as you sort of bring others into Miller Center and bring partners here to campus and make connections to us who are well beyond the campus. The centers of distinction, and there are 3 at Santa Clara, are so vital. The Markle Center for Applied Ethics and the Ignatius Center for Jesuit Education and the Miller Center are so really, really important to us because they ground our commitments to interdisciplinary education. Miller Center draws people from all parts of campus to the common work. Miller Center, especially the class thing that you and Keith, led many times, where we have applied learning, right? You're learning the best of our tradition, and you're learning about leadership and entrepreneurship. But then you're doing it, whether it's in our community here or elsewhere in the U.S. or globally. As I visited sites in Kenya last summer, the sites where our fellows had gone and spent putting their education into action. In a sense, that's also what I want to, and it's been reflective in some remarks, but particularly Thane in your own comments today, how important Miller Center is to our Jesuit education, to our mission here. And I know that when Karen and Jeff started the center, this is something they believed strongly in. And I'm so grateful to them for their dedication, not just their philanthropy, but their hours of commitment, and they're getting into our work and being engaged in it. They were attracted to how Miller Center could multiply the impact of our Jesuit educational mission. And what is that about? As you said in your own comments, Jesuit education is very practical. It is about making the world a more just and gentle and sustainable place. It commits itself to social justice and also environmental justice. And at a Jesuit university, we try to tie our our learning and our faith to concrete action. And the Miller Center just embodies that commitment so beautifully. You can feel it in your bones. You can hear it in testimonies of our students. You can hear about it when they talk about when they come back from their summer experiences. And above all, you can experience it and I think the reason why all of us are on this call is because somehow we've been touched by the hope that springs eternal in what Miller Center does. We need this type of hope in our world today. It's a concrete way for us to express who we are and who we want to be, and to get our hands dirty and our feet, soiled a bit, right? And just to get into the work of building a more just and gentle and sustainable world, so that we can realize human potential and uplift people and their spirits and empower them to have a future of their own making with us as partners. So thank God for Miller Center. Thank God for Thane. Thank God sent you here these 10 years. Thank God Bridget was sent our way. And, in leadership, there's always transitions. It's important to mark those transitions as we're doing here. But, I think there's a certain humility that comes with transitions that Thane has shared and knows well, that we're just part of this long line of people who are trying to do good. And we continue to benefit from the shade of seeds that became trees of former planters, but then we're just trying to plant seeds now that have become or will be most amazing and fruitful trees for the days ahead. So you've tended to the garden and to the vineyard very, very well, Thane, and be assured that there will be much fruit in the years ahead under Bridget's leadership and our support. So thank you, and God bless, Thane.